welcome to another reading and correcting of a film with me, Kindar, and Ty, the Tiger Super. Um, if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. I'm on. Are doing chapter. Diego's office, clean. Shelves all pictures, families, and gifts his patients had given him. Most of them were amusing pieces of art from jobs the bear tree, small cliff drawings of indecipherable things made with a variety of supplies, from ink to stick to what kept that thing for all this time styluses. Looking at it now, he had no idea what he tried to make, but he remembered how angry his father had been with it. More than one box of them gone into it. They had been meant to tune his art. Made it clear that what his talent had. The desk had the computer, two frames, one of Nago's father, of his son. Paulo didn't remember much of either. The bear had in the frame had graying fur and much younger, 30s. His son had pale brown fur instead of dark Nago's had been. On one corner of the desk, the misshapen clay bowl, another art project. It was half full with sweets wrapped in clear wrappers. Nago kept insisting they were for the cubs, rewarding them rewards for sitting through the examination. Charlotte knew the bear ate most. The chair facing the computer, bear's large frame, and Charlotte replaced it with the patient's chair. There were three of them facing. He sat and looked around the room. All the gifts Nago had received felt again the waste of it. The computer came at a press button from Ashiba, a decent enough computer manufacturer, 12 years old. It up and Paulo took out his pad and had it establish a contact. Bracket security. Trembor entered and sat. Lips curled into a smile the moment. I had to leave Jack's car operating. This could take. Think there might about the killer? No idea. I'm just hoping there's an indication of why he went to council hall in the one of them? Yes, but they never worked. Thoughtful for you know the people here. Did he have enemies? Not when I left. Medic in town, so even those he had arguments with, those arguments never escalated shouting. Without his ID, can't get how worth, but he was a medic and counselor. Cheap. Or leaned back in his spy that he was killed while being robbed. In the council chamber, the only ones with access after hours are the counselor and cleaning staff. It's locked to the. If someone from the list Arleon gave us was in there, Naego let him in, let him or her in. But why would he do? If for some reason he was dealing with business at night, he would in. Now, if it had happened here, I would have believed it. Naego would get up at any time of the night if it someone. Dragon that showed up at the door, he would come. How would he know he live here? Follow none. House is a couple of streets behind. The door is connected to it. Wasn't a lock, right? Anyone can come into the waiting area. The rest of the locks, and only at night. But when it opens, it sounds in his. He'll come for him to die in the council business. If you mean another counselor, sure, they scream a lot, but I'm resorting to violence. While we wait for you to access, let's go through what the list. Let's go through the list. They're on. I don't care what Arleon says. A vagrant can't take down Naego. Even if one of them managed to sneak, Naego kept in shape. They wouldn't have seen him easily. Doesn't hurt to be thorough. Can we remove the Komodo and kite? I don't know. I want to confirm the US movement first. This doesn't match with distances travel. Someone in the commune will have seen how enforcer in Low Valley should be able to confirm when Komodo didn't look in a state to do much. Was in the cage when I died. I want to send enforcer check. She was restaurant. If she was here for a few days, she'll have more possessions where she slept, stashed there where she slept. Look, collected better. You don't want to do that yourself. Benerick isn't going to want to do dirty work. Case technically can't work dirty work, and unless it's telling me it's related to the case, technically you can't order to do that. Decent thing to do. Benerick only does the decent thing if it serves him. Okay, I won't. It won't be that much. That while you check on the hello not Cram. That's all I understood. But tilted in ear, questioningly. Correct if you see things done you're used to. Remember, this town has its own way of doing it. Lion not. I mean, like that wolf being heckled. Worry. I'll keep my opinion and reactions to my virus. Trembor was already an intruder here. I had to step into something ugly. He couldn't or wouldn't control justice. One of the things that had attracted that had justice, one of the things that had attracted to him. Attracted him. Uh, sense of justice, one of the things that had made him attractive, acting in the first, taking his patents, tracking program to run in the background without checking on. He started with the simplest thing, querying the ARS database. Those he found this way would have their alibi. Drawback was that not all databases were technology they had. Enforcers were just as cities might connect their database together, but only if they had tight bonds. Smaller towns like the one surrounding it would. It meant he had to send multiple requests, starting with the closest town there. He went as far as 20 days walk away. Ride, likely, worth nothing. Others, but it was always possible. Gentle, well-fed person felt like helping. By the time he sent the last query, the back. Next half hour, they all came back. Two of the suspects were caged, one for 7 days, the other 2. So clearly not them. He ran the IDs of those left. The claimed death database came up. 5 names to count for. He sent their names and description to the enforcers. Request to be in whereabouts. There. Now the council wouldn't be able to claim he wasn't doing the job. That done. The Low Valley's Enforcers Bureau. Cornell speaking. This is R.I. Marlot Blackclaw. I need your help to confirm someone's traveled through your town recently. Get your ID number. I don't recognize your name. Did he R.I.? Also, what are you looking for? Arch's Longleg. He's a coyote, a vagrant. Might have poached among That's kind of far from you. What's your interest in him? I'm in Great Prairies investigating a death. Reports of poaching in a while for our people here. I also don't have any reports about a vagrant yote. Check with your patrollers. I need to work out his movements. Sure, might take a while to get them all to get back to me. They like being alone, like the distraction of having their pads turned. Problem, he's caged here, so he isn't going anywhere. So going anywhere until this is solved. Thanks. Where you go? Said before. To explain why they brought in a city RI. I know Great Prairie isn't part of Iranas, but she's local. Marlot considered this. He couldn't tell him it was because the council hoped to control him and get him to pick a vagrant at random as a culprit. Well, he could, but that wouldn't get the council to way to scream at him. I knew the body. Finally, they figured I'd want to deal with it because of that. Okay, thanks. Once I've talked with my patrols, I'll get back to you. Marlot spent a moment trying to place a rana. Nothing came. Adele had been studying law while I, which town she'd been from, but he'd expected her to take the council, let her have the, he'd expected her to take over his territory. Hmm. This part. A door slammed in the distance. Later, Benerick was barging in the office. What do you think you're doing? My job, Marlot replied without looking up. Brought the cracking program up. Press. So, your job consists of forcing my trainee to give you access to lockup? Marlot smiled. Actually, it does. I needed to see if the two in the cage had any of Naego's things. The program had done. I'd gone through half its stored method. Naego had been serious. Really. Of course they didn't. You think I'd let something like that pass? Arleon didn't give me any report showing what you did or didn't do as part of caging them there. So instead of interrupting whatever you were doing, look, got hurt. Yeah. Well, seems that lion of yours got Naria thinking she can learn the job by reading instead of doing what I tell her. Hello looked up, smiling and showing. What are you afraid of? After all, the texts Trembor sent her were the same ones you had to read during your training. I don't need anyone interfering with how I train her. Followed me. You're not the proper way enforcers do thing. I don't see how we're interfering. Snarled at him. You better remember who's in charge here. London stood out. I know exactly who's in charge, Marlowe yelled after him. Oh, and it isn't you. The door slammed in. A moment later, Trembor had got the link stump or in a knot for interfering with his trainee's training. That explains why he tried to shove me in the wall. Otto chuckled. Lion had to mask twice what the lynx did. Find anything interesting? That now, I did manage to find where she's been sleeping. Some clothes and a few knickknacks. That probably only something to her. Left that with Nario. That'd be. Thanks, Jaxka. Jaxka, thanks for calling back promptly. Don't worry about it. Answer, but I don't have good news. I can't examine your body. I have operations booked for the next 3 days. You're going to have to use the local medic. He's the body. Close. You hear that? Still, there has to be other medics. How small is this? Is the town? Town proper is small enough, and or in the communes, so they'll have medics there then. Yes, but they won't be trained to examine bodies. Can they at least cut it open? Although that stated, probably. Okay. Then I'll see about finding a few hours between operation. Set up cameras. I can guide them through it and visual examination. I can tell them what to collect and that to me process. Okay. It might take a while to find one. Contact me when you do, and I'll work out of time. Sorry, I need to go. I have to get cleaned up before my mate up discontinued viral shim meal. About finding a medic side. I'll have to make this 7 of a familiar. If you are enjoying this, please, if you want to know when the next one's going to be, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want the story as the others in the series, they are available from Amazon and other retailers. Support me, you get that Patreon. Also get access to basically everything I've written. And if you want live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The links are in the notes. That I